Hi, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome into the Coors Event Center and the Newsteam Boulder Postgame Show. We are here in Boulder where the Colorado Buffaloes have just defeated the Washington Huskies 81-80. I'm Andrew Haubner, and with me is University of Colorado women's basketball combo guard Ariana Freeman. And Ari, we're sitting watching this game with about 8 seconds left. Andrew Andrews has the opportunity to get the game-winning bucket the same exact way and almost the same exact shot that he had this time last year in Coors. But you did not seem too happy with the shot that he took to try and win it today.
Man, well, as a Buff, I was happy that he took that shot, but as a basketball player, I just couldn't believe that a senior guard would pull up like he was Ray Allen with 8 seconds left, only down by 1. As a basketball player, if it was me in that situation, I'm going to drive to the basket, try to draw a foul, make a layup, a better shot than pulling up at the free throw line. Definitely. Andrew Andrews, I don't really know what he was thinking on that one.
You know, and he actually almost got bailed out at one point. Colorado comes down. Wesley Gordon goes to the line with about a second and a half left on the clock. He misses the first, intentionally misses the second. Washington gets the chance to do a Hail Mary play, but Matisse Thybulle throws it way over anybody else that could even be close to the shot, and Colorado ends up walking away with a victory. But the one thing that you mentioned before we came on air was that Colorado really needs to find a way to maintain and hold the leads they have. They had a 17-point lead in the first half, and somehow this game came down to the final 0.9 second mark left in the game. I mean, it's something that they really need to improve on.
Oh, absolutely. As the Buffs, as you said, the Buffs need to improve on this. If they're trying to make a Pac-12 run, trying to make an NCAA run, you cannot be up by 17 with 5 minutes left in the first half. Gordon had the momentum play going into halftime, making that layup at the buzzer, and you can't come into the second half, forget what you did in the first half, let the 17-point lead just drop. You have to be able to put your foot on their throat and really push the ball and bury them.
And one of the very impressive things about Colorado today was the bench play. From Thomas Akiazili to Xavier Johnson, Trey Fletcher, all of those players really came out, contributed in a positive way, and Colorado doesn't lose very often. They haven't this year when the bench has been playing as solid as they have.
Oh, absolutely. And Washington coming into this game, coming off of 2 losses to Arizona and Utah, they were outscored in bench points. And when you look at the Buffs, the big wins that we had against Cal and Oregon especially, they had 45-plus bench points. I am so impressed with Akazili, Fortune, and Fletch coming into the game, playing with confidence. Akazili had huge momentum plays, especially when he hit that big-time 3, drew a charge, came back down, took the opponent baseline, and scored a layup. I was just so proud in everyone's confidence. That's super important when your starting 5 comes out, plays hard, for you to be able to come into the game and contribute big-time minutes.
And one of the big elements of that confidence is being able to do it when Josh Scott is not there and he's not present in the game. And you only have one other really true senior guy on this team in Xavier Johnson, one guy who can be your calming presence in the floor. And we were able to catch up with Xavier right as the game ended. So let's take a look over, see what Xavier had to say.
We just have to make sure that we don't have any defensive lapses like that. I mean, like you said, we had, I think it was up to like 16 points, and we kind of like let that down a little bit, but we just had to take care of the ball, and that helps them get out in transition, so we just had to shore up the things that we can take care of.
So while Josh has been injured, you have really stepped up in these last couple games, being the senior veteran presence on the floor. How does it feel to kind of have the guys, maybe look to you a little bit more to be that calming, older player that everyone can kind of look to and say, all right, we're okay, we're in a good spot here?
I mean, it's not just me. I think that we have a veteran group, so everybody shares a leadership role in some aspect. But yeah, being like the lone senior out there, it's definitely different. And me having to calm the guys down, just making sure the guys play with poise and stuff like that, it's pretty good.
Your teammate Wes Gordon posted his 3rd straight double-double, career high, 17 points today. I mean, is it good for you guys to almost watch him, growing in front of your eyes and taking in that starting role of being that dude right in the post?
Oh, I love it when Wes is aggressive, and I mean, we try to get him to do that a lot more, but I mean, when you have 2 good post players like him and Josh down there, we have to feed them, so that's what us as guards had to take care of. We can't turn the ball over to make sure they get a touchdown there almost every time down, so just them playing with confidence is going to help them out.
So the fact that you guys won this homestand was absolutely huge. This is the 9th time in program history you guys have gone on 19-win regular season. So how do you carry this momentum into this road stand against a very good USC team and a UCLA team who, while their record might not be great, they have a lot of talented players on that roster?
Right. Well, I think that we just had to take this game and be happy about it today, but move on from it. And we had to look forward to our next game against USC, so we had to be prepared for them when we go play them down there in Southern Cal.
Thanks very much, man. And that was Xavier Talton talking to Newsteam Boulder. And Ari, in addition to Talton, you had one player who we talked a lot about in our last postgame against Washington State, Wesley Gordon. 17 points, a career high for him, 13 rebounds, his third straight double-double. I mean, with Josh got out, it's a Wes Gordon show now.
Man, one thing that I love about Wes's game is that I'll look up at the scoreboard and see that he has 20 points, and I'm like, whoa, where did that come from? Well, it comes from him playing consistent. He crashes the boards hard every time, gets the easy puts backs, runs in transition, gets the easy layups, and I love that his game is just so steady, and with Josh Scott being out, that's very important for the Buffs.
And in addition to Wes, you also had George King, who had a pretty bad shooting night today, honestly. He went 3 for 13, 0 for 4 from 3, usually a place where he typically shines, but one bright spot he had, 4 offensive rebounds, 10 rebounds total, his first double-double this season. And one big critique of George this year has been, can he contribute when he's not scoring in bunches? And I think this game was big for development of a guy like that because he showed that, yes, he can, in fact, positively contribute to this team when he isn't really having a good scoring night as he didn't have today.
Man, well, you said offensive rebounds, 4 of them. Those were 4 very crucial offensive rebounds. Those were offensive rebounds where the shot clock is down to 2, the teammate jacks up a shot, he gets the rebound, and then they have a fresh new shot clock to work with. That is extremely important when you play in these huge games. You're trying to run some time off the clock. You have the big lead. I'm liking how he's finding his teammates, keeping his head even though he's not knocking down shots, crashing the glass hard, and still staying positive.
You know, and the one thing that is huge about this game, too, is that this now puts Colorado at 19-7 on the season, and they have a big road trip away to Southern California, first against USC and then against UCLA. Now, how do you guys keep the momentum up? How do you guys make sure that you stay positive, stay focused after a big stretch like this, 4 or 5 days off, and then into an even harder road stretch?
I mean, they have to work hard in practice. They have to go over a few mistakes, but I think they're going to take time to just recover, refocus. You're going into Southern Cal. One thing that I think the Buffs do need to work on is, again, you can't be up. If they do get these leads on the road, they're going to be so crucial to be able to maintain throughout the game to pull off these wins.
Now, the one thing that was probably louder than anything else in here, bigger than any points, dunks, blocks, or anything here in the Coors Event Center today was a lot of disapproval of the referees and the calls that were happening down on the floor. Now, as a player, you know, you've obviously had good and bad calls before, but when the referees really take control of a game for the worse, I would say, in this game, you know, how do you make sure that you don't let what they're calling or not calling, for that matter, alter how you're playing the game?
Man, well, if I'm a player, you cannot listen to the loud boos coming from the crowd. I mean, which they didn't let the refs off easy with these calls at all. They maintained that boo for a long time. You have to have short memory. I mean, if the refs call something that you don't agree with, you definitely can't talk back because you're not going to get a call later on when you need it. You just have to have that short memory, get back on defense, make the next play.
The refs really did insert themselves into this game, but luckily Colorado was able to overcome it, and that's where we will leave this. Colorado at 19-7, the 9th time in program history that they've had 19 regular season wins, the 5th in the Tad Boyle era, and a big road trip against the Southern California schools coming up this next week. Our final from the Coors Event Center, 81-80. This has been the Newsteam Boulder postgame show. You can catch Newsteam on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 12 o'clock on the Atlas Network. For Ariana Freeman, I'm Andrew Haubner. We hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend.